Welcome to Preparing for Your Demo Lesson, your guide to building confidence and making a lasting impression during one of the most important moments in the teacher hiring process. Whether you're teaching on a blacktop, in a classroom, or online, this workshop will help you plan, practice, and deliver a powerful lesson that reflects your teaching style. Before we jump in, scan the QR code on the screen to book a free private session with me. I'll help you fine-tune your demo, answer questions, or just give honest, supportive feedback. Let's get this started. Welcome to Preparing for Your Demo Teaching Lesson, a follow-up to our teacher interview workshop. I'm Coach Fierros, and today we'll dig into one of the most high-stakes moments of the interview process, the demo teaching lesson. Now, I'll guide you through the planning, execution, and follow-up steps to deliver a lesson that showcases your skills, passion, and classroom presence. All right, so before I move on, feel free to scan the QR code right there that's in front of you to book a one-on-one session with me, and we can go over your demo teaching lesson. And even if you don't have a demo teaching lesson yet, we can go over tips, anything that has to do with demo teaching lesson. We can just go over it together. All right, I'm here for you. So, I would like to share two memorable experiences from my demo teaching lessons, both of me which taught me important lessons about preparation, adaptable to change, and staying grounded under pressure. Now, my first demo lesson was for an elementary PE position in South LA. Now, I came fairly prepared. I had all the necessary equipment, wore professional attire, followed the dress code, brought a detailed lesson plan, and even brought a speaker to play music. I felt confident. Now, however, when I arrived at the outdoor basketball court, the third grade class, about 20 students, came running in with lots of energy and no structure. Now, the lead teacher didn't provide any behavioral expectations or a calm transition. I hadn't even introduced myself yet before I had to step in and try to settle the group. Now, it took time to line the students up, and I quickly realized that classroom management was going to be my biggest challenge. I didn't know the students, the school culture, or the routines. So as a result, I wasn't able to move through the full lesson as planned. That experience reminded me that teaching a demo lesson in an unfamiliar environment takes more than content knowledge. It requires real time awareness, flexibility, and an understanding of the classroom context. Now, my next demo teaching lesson took place at a different elementary school. Now, this time I came in even more prepared with multiple lesson plans, extra equipment, high energy, and backup music. So, my plan was to teach a basketball lesson focused on hand dribbling to a group of second graders. Now, however, when I arrived, I learned that I wouldn't be teaching in a gym. Instead, I was assigned a small patio with very limited space and resources. The principal, dean, and a classroom teacher were all present to observe me. So rather than panic, I made a quick decision. I told the interview panel that I was scrapping my original plan and would improvise a new one to suit the space and the students. So I adapted the activity on the spot and made it work. 3 days later, I received a job offer, and one of the main reasons they shared for me selecting was my ability to adjust confidently and creatively in the moment. So, as we are going to continue here, here are the learning objectives. Now, these objectives will shape our time together. Whether you have taught for years or just starting out, this workshop will give you a practical edge because you only get one shot at a first impression. All right, so throughout the workshop, you're going to be assigned to optional tasks. Again, they're just optional, so you don't have to take on my challenges. But if you do, each optional task will give you an opportunity to earn a badge, and with those badges, you earn small rewards. Again, they're just small rewards that are going to get you ready to prepare for your demo teaching lesson. So, optional task one, 3 goals. So, if you would like to earn your first badge, write your top 3 personal goals for this workshop and send them to me. This is not just busy work. This will help you focus on what matters most for your professional growth. And plus, you'll get a personalized PDF to help track your progress as you move forward in your job search. So, again, you're going to make a list of three personal goals for your upcoming demo lesson. Okay, so think about the areas that you struggled with or felt unsure in past demos. Be specific. For example, you can say like, I want to learn how to modify a lesson in space. It's limited. Or you can say, I want to learn how to better engage students right away. So how are you going to turn this in? Well, email me your three learning objectives to coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of enrolling in this workshop. If you do, you get the Vision Setter badge. And with that, you get a reward PDF template, the demo lesson planning goal tracker. So, what is a demo teaching lesson? So, a demo teaching lesson is your opportunity to show, not just tell, the hiring team what kind of teacher you are. It's a brief, often fast paced lesson that gives administrators, teachers, or hiring panels a chance to observe your skills in real time. Now, it's not about delivering the perfect lesson, it's about how you show up. Are you engaging the students? You're clear and organized? Do you manage time and class space effectively? Do you connect with the students? You'll be usually given a specific grade level, content area, and a time frame. Now, sometimes you'll know in advance what to prepare, or other times you'll be giving little to no context, and you'll need to adjust on the spot. Now, whether you're in a classroom or on a blacktop with no equipment, the key is to make your teaching style, voice, and personality shine through. Now, the demo teaching lesson can be between 10 and 30 minutes. Now, personally, I prefer 30-minute lessons. Even though they're longer, at least it gives me a chance to plan a thorough lesson that includes the objectives, the engagement strategies, model, have them, demonstrate, have the students, demonstrate what I, model for them, and of course, a strong closure, which is like a reflection. It gives me also time to also manage behavior. It also gives me time to, build those relationships with the students, even during that small portion of time. Now, 10 minutes, and I've been in part of 10-minute demo lessons. 10 minutes is just way too short, right? I mean, and I always feel like I'm rushing through everything that I try to squeeze in everything to those 10 minutes. Now, my advice to you, if you are booked to a 10-minute demo lesson, is just to, try to just hook the students and engage them as much as possible, right? More like student centered than anything else, so they can see that there's more engagement than anything else. All right, here comes optional task number two. Define your teaching style in one sentence. Okay? Now, in this task, you're going to write one clear sentence that defines your teaching style or approach. Okay? So think like if someone walked into your classroom or watched you teach, what would you want them to say about your style? And so for example, you can say things like, I'm a highly energetic teacher who engages all learners through movement and music. Now, this will help you shape how you approach your demo lesson. All right, so you're going to turn this in to me at coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of signing up, and you get the Voice of the Teacher badge. And with that badge, you get a 30-second video on teaching style elevator pitch by yours truly, Coach Fierros. All right, so what the panel looks for. Now, when you walk into your demo lesson, the panel's watching more than just what you teach. They're observing how you teach. And these are the specific things they're looking for in your demo lesson. They want to see a clear learning objective that drives their lesson, students actively participating, whether that's through movement, questioning, or discussion, that you know how to manage the space and time effectively. Now, your teaching presence, your tone, energy, body language, and how approachable you are is also key. Now, whether you include differentiation or accommodations for diverse learners, even in small ways, that your lesson is aligned with the appropriate grade level standards. And finally, They'll look for closure. Did you wrap up the lesson in a way that checks for understanding that or ties it all together? Now, these observations helps them determine if you're a strong fit for the school community. So keep them in mind when designing your lesson. Now, one advice that I can give you, in regards to what the panel is looking for, is that you start, doing your research before you do your demo lesson, before you go to your demo lesson. And what I mean by that is going to the school website and looking at their mission statement, looking at their, school values, their discipline policy, and put that into action in your demo lesson so they can see some type of familiarity there. All right, so here comes optional task number three. Now, with this task, all right, you're going to use the checklist on this slide, right? And I'll send you the checklist. Actually, it's not even here, but I will send you a checklist and evaluate your current or upcoming demo lesson. Now, which areas are the strongest and which needs improvement? Okay? So you're going to reflect on your lesson plan or a recent teaching experience. So for each item, you're going to rate yourself, like, if you need strong, if you need work, and be honest. This is your growth, okay? And you're going to complete the checklist reflection and email it to me at coachfieldos@gmail.com within 30 days of workshop sign up. Now, email me so I can send you that checklist, and then you're going to turn it back in with your ratings, and you're going to get the Evaluator Insight badge. And that with that badge, you get a small reward called a PDF. It's a hiring panel checklist printable tool. All right, planning your lesson. So this is where it all starts, your lesson plan. So the hiring panel wants to see that you can plan an appropriate standards-based lesson that can be realistically taught in the time that you're given. Now make sure that your objective is crystal clear. Something like students will all be able to demonstrate three different locomotor movements with control and proper form. Simple, measurable, and connected to the standards. And again, that's just like a PE objective, all right? But again, it's in any content area, make sure that that learning objective is clear to the point where it's measurable and is connected to the students. Now, start with a hook. Get students excited and focused. Then model your skill or concept using visuals, calling response, or student examples. Now, build in moments of interaction. This could be a group practice, partner discussion, or checking for understanding. And then lastly, time every phase. Now, a strong demo lesson shows that you respect instructional minutes and always have a backup plan. Maybe your space changes or a class behaves unexpectedly. This is the more adaptable your plan, the more confident you'll be. Now, one of the most common mistakes that teachers make on the demo lessons is that they continue with their lesson even though the behavior starts to escalate a little bit, right? Because the kids are seeing a new face, in front of them. They're going to start testing you right away. Or there's some, students that are going to be really like, they're going to try to be more like, okay, this is a new teacher that's coming to do a demo lesson. Let's give him or her the space and go from there. But some kids might be able to test you, and it's okay to fix behavior right there and then. Don't ignore negative behavior because then you're pretty much showing them how to handle that, behavior situation. So, uh, just in other words, just be ready to improvise when it comes to unexpected behaviors. All right, optional task number four: create your 15-minute demo plan. You're going to draft it for this task. You're going to draft a 15-minute demo lesson using the checklist on this slide. And again, I'll send you the checklist. I was supposed to create a checklist for you right here, so that's my fault. So you're going to choose a grade level or subject. It can be math, art, math, PE, science, right? Include your learning objective, a warm up or a hook, modeling, practice, and closure. Okay, and it's optional. Add a Plan B version for limited space or materials. All right, so you're going to turn this in to me, right? This lesson plan draft. You can send it to me by a Google Doc, PDF, or a screenshot to coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of workshop enrollment. And once you do that, you get the Master Planner Badge. And with this Master Planner Badge, you get a reward, which means Coach Fierros will walk through your planning process step by step. All right, engaging your audience. Now, engagement is one of the first things an interview panel will notice, and it's one of the fastest ways to demonstrate your teaching effectiveness. Now, start with open-ended questions. Okay, don't just ask yes or no responses. Use strategies like think, pair, share, or turn and talk to get students interacting with each other. Now, if you're doing PE or movement-based lessons, integrate call and response, cues by clapping rhythms or music to hold their attention. Use student names if you learn them, or make eye contact and respond genuinely to what students say or do. Most importantly, build momentum. Now, give students an opportunity to succeed early in the lesson. This builds confidence and shows you how to scaffold success and boost morale. Okay? So it's just very important that you hook your audience, right from the start, get their attention, and build lots of curiosity. All right. So for optional task number 5, it's called engagement strategy practice. For this task, you're going to write 3 engagement strategies you will use in your demo lesson and explain for how each will help students stay involved. Okay. So you're going to choose a grade level and context. Could be in the classroom or PE area. Okay. And then be specific about your strategy. For example, I will be using clapping patterns to redirect attentions during transitions and explain why you chose each one. Okay, you're going to turn this in to me to coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of signing up, and you'll get the Engagement Pro badge. Okay, and with the Engagement Pro badge, okay, you're going to get a reward called an engagement strategy cheat sheet that includes 15 quick ways to increase engagement in both PE and classroom demo lessons. Now, I'm a PE teacher, so I'm including a lot of PE right here. If you're not a PE teacher, of course, I'll send you just 15 quick ways to increase engagement, of course, in the classroom. All right, so common mistakes to avoid. So it's easy to fall into common traps when teaching a demo lesson, especially when the nerves kick in. So these are the most frequent mistakes that hiring panels report seeing. Now, first, over lecturing. If you're doing all the talking, students and the panel may tune out, and your lesson should feel interactive, even if it's in a short time frame. Now, second, skipping interaction. A panel wants to see that you know how to engage your learners, not just deliver content. And then third, ignoring the students. If a student asks questions or seems confused and you don't respond, it shows that you're disconnected. It demonstrates that you're responsive and aware. Also, don't forget about pacing. Practice your timing of your transition so you don't run out of time before closure. And then lastly, be careful not to read directly from the slides or notes. Right? So panels want to hear you, your voice, energy, and clarity. And keep visuals simple and speak directly to your audience. Now, um, as far as the mistakes that that the mistakes that you want to avoid, as far as pacing, and the timing of your lesson, it's okay to bring like a stopwatch or even I mean your cell phone is not really professional, but at least for a stopwatch, you watching the time, so that way you're pacing yourself and you end right on time. You start on time, you end right on time. So it's okay to have a stopwatch there and keep track of the time once in a while, so that way you can you know meet every time requirement of your lesson. All right, here comes optional task number 6. So in this, the mistakes to avoid. So in this task, you're going to choose one mistake from the list that you will likely to make and explain how you plan to avoid it. Okay, so be honest with yourself. Which mistake do you tend to fall into when you're nervous or rushed? And you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences on how you'll prevent it during your next demo lesson. You're going to turn it into me, within 30 days of workshop enrollment, and you'll earn the Growth Minded Badge. Yep. So the Growth Minded Educator Badge will give you the reward of just feedback from me. Yep. Feedback from that mistake that you're from the list that you're most likely to make, and then when you explain how you're going to plan to avoid it, I'll give you feedback on that. All right, keys to rehearsing a strong demo lesson. So practice is where your demo lesson goes from good to great. So don't just rehearse silently. Teach it out loud using your full voice and movement. And you want to simulate the energy and pacing of the real experience. So time yourself. Can you complete your hook, instruction practice, and closure in the allotted time? Now, recording yourself is one of the best tools. You'll notice habits you may not realize in the moment, or rehearse in front of a mirror or a trusted peer. Now, also be ready for what happens after your lesson. Most panels will ask follow up questions like, why did you choose this activity? Or how will you adapt this to English learners or students with IEPs? What will you do differently next time? And so rehearsing boosts your confidence and your way of adapting to change. So, optional task number 7, rehearsal strategies of submission. So, for this task, you're going to write a short plan for how you rehearse your demo lesson. Okay? So, you're going to include where and when you will practice, what you'll focus on, for example, timing, transitions, energy, etc., and how you reflect on your rehearsal, right? Mirror. Did you do some self-recording or did you rehearse with a peer? So you're going to email your response to me within 30 days of workshop enrollment, and you earn the Confident Presenter Badge. And with the Confident Presenter Badge, you're going to receive a list of 3 common follow-up panel interview questions with prompts to help you prepare for strong, confident answers. Okay, so I'll send them to you via email. All right, the day of the demo. Okay, so your demo day is here. And while it's normal to feel nervous, being prepared makes a huge difference. So dress professionally, but also in a way that allows you to move confidently, especially if you're teaching PE. Now bring extras, your planned visuals, equipment, music, a speaker, or even a printed copy of a resume in case it's requested. Now before you begin, center yourself. Take a moment to breathe, and you have rehearsed and you're prepared. So when the panel and students arrive, smile and greet them. Introduce yourself warmly to the students and make them feel seen. It sets the tone right away. Now remember, the panel isn't looking for a perfect lesson. They're looking for how you interact, how you adjust, and how you lead with presence. So if something unexpected happens, go with it. How will you respond is part of what they're evaluating as well. All right, optional task number 8, my demo day checklist. So you're going to create a personal checklist of 5 to 7 things you want to do or remember on your demo lesson day. Okay, so include at least one physical preparation, like clothing, materials, one mindset or emotional strategy, and one goal you have for student interaction. You're going to send your checklist to me to coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of signing up. And with that, you get the Demo Day Ready badge. And with the Demo Day Ready badge, your reward will be get a personalized Demo Day reminder email with a motivational quote from me and a last minute checklist email the day before your scheduled lesson. Okay, so you'll provide the demo lesson date for me, and I'll email it to you. Email it to you before, just to get you pumped up for the demo. All right, closing the demo. So how you end your demo lesson can leave a lasting impression. Start by circling back to the objective. Remind the students and the panel what you set out to teach. Right? So then check for understanding. Ask students to reflect with a thumbs up or down, share out, or answer in a closing question. Now, even one sentence from a student can show engagement and learning. This is also a great time to connect your lesson to real life. Right? For example, next time you're playing at recess, see how many times you can dribble without losing control. So finally, thank the student genuinely and with enthusiasm. So whether you crushed it or felt shaky, leave with professionalism and presence. Now the panel remembers how you end just as much as how you began. Optional task number 9, write your lesson exit plan. So for this task, you're going to write your ideal 3 to 4 sentence closing script of your demo lesson. Include your objective recap, student reflection prompt, and thank you instructions. All right. So, or thank you responses like, hey, how you're going to thank them, or how you're going to close in a strong way. So, instructions for you, you're going to think of it like a final impression. Keep it warm, clear, and connected to your students. You're going to turn this in to me via email within 30 days. And with that, you get the strong finisher badge. And the reward will be that we're going to do a duet video with Coach Fiddles on TikTok explaining your closing script for demo lesson. How fun is that? All right, final tips and encouragement. So you made it to the end of the workshop, and I want to remind you, you are ready. Now, this demo lesson is not about perfection. It's about showing the panel who you are, your presence, your thoughtfulness, your ability to connect, and your heart for teaching. So you have put in the work. So you rehearsed, you thought through scenarios, and you trust that preparation. So on that day of, take a breath and before you start, right? Smile, speak clearly and with purpose. Make quick connections with students. Even something as simple as learning 2 names or giving a high five can show your heart. And if anything goes differently than you planned, stay grounded, right? Being adaptable to change is part of what they're looking for. All right, you got this. And if no one tells you today, I'm proud of you. All right, optional task number 10, encouragement letter for future self. In this task, you're going to write a short note to yourself to read in the morning for your demo. Okay? Your message can be practical, motivational, or personal, whatever you need to hear that day. You're going to turn in your letter to me, okay? And if you want, I'll schedule it to email it back to you the day before your interview. And with that, you get the Empowered Badge, okay? The Empower Educator Badge, for that matter. And with that, you're going to receive a personalized demo day pep talk via email from Coach Fierros with a motivational quote tailored to your teaching style and goals. Okay? So if you want that motivational quote, right, of course, email me before your demo lesson so I can send it to you to get you pumped up for that demo lesson. All right, here comes the final challenge. This gives you the demo lesson champion badge. You're going to write a short 3 to 5 sentence personal commitment that answers how will I show up for my demo lesson and for the students that I may serve. It can include mindset, strategies, and a vision of their impact as a future educator. Send your commitment to coachfierros@gmail.com within 30 days of joining the workshop. Okay? So if you complete the final challenge plus all the 10 optional tasks, you'll get a 10% discount on your next workshop with Coach Fierros, plus a free private session to chat about demo lesson prep or reflection with Coach Fierros. All right, so that will be it for me. Thank you so much for joining me in this workshop, and stay tuned if you would like to schedule a free one-on-one private session with me. Thank you so much for listening.
You just finished preparing for your demo lesson and now you're walking away with real tools. real strategies, and most importantly, confidence. Remember, your demo isn't about being perfect. It's about showing who you are as an educator and how you connect with students. Now, if you're ready to personalize your prep or want expert eyes on your lesson plan, scan the QR code now to book your free private session with me. I got your back. Let's help you get that job.